Okay, so full transparency, recording has actually just now started. So if you've been here listening, welcome. All right, welcome to Redbeard Trading. This is Phil George. If you're in the Discord, then you know that Apex has gone through some transitions this weekend. If you're brand new to trading and you're just now finding my channel, this may not apply to you because you may not have ever seen the old Apex, but we have, and we're going to go over a little bit about the changes they made this weekend that are going to affect the way that you have traded. It's not going to mean that Apex is a bad platform. It's not going to mean that I'm going to stop recommending it as the first platform that new beginners should try to trade on, because it's still dirt cheap, as we're going to see, if you're just trying to pass that eval for the first time, or if you're just trying to use it as a tool to kind of get in. Usually what I would recommend is like Apex is your primary, and then using something like Top Step or using something like Take Profit as an add-on, as a tool. And this really kind of shifted its direction. Basically, Apex kind of got tired of being the nice guy, right? Like the guy waiting around for the girl to come back around and finally come back home to, from trying all the fancy stuff. And it's like, you know what? Finally, whatever. I'm just going to do what I'm going to build my platform the way everybody else is using it, so we can only have ourselves to blame for this, for some of this. And I'll explain what I mean when we kind of get to it, but at the same time, it's still a wonderful platform. I think it's going to be really good. Let's just kind of dive right into what that looks like and what some of these things mean for us as traders. And do you still want to use Apex? And that's really kind of what it boils down to. So I'm gonna hop over to the website here. Obviously, some brand new changes to the website. Looks a little different. Still got the sign up, still got the login, still have the products. Still has an 85% off right now. I will share my code at the end of it if you want to try to do this. Still can trade up to 20 accounts at the same time, and I'm going to explain how that works at the very end. That is the big difference that Apex has always kind of touted over all of these other platforms. Is you can still trade. You can trade 20 accounts side by side. It's much more restricted now, though. Apex is now not the one that you're going to probably trade on for the next 10 or 15 years with the same accounts potentially. That's necessarily what a lot of people do anyway. And so some people are like, oh, what a shame. But really, who's trading on the same Apex accounts now that they were 5 months ago anyway? Something happened, you blew an account, you did something stupid or whatever. Maybe you have a few of them that have lasted that long, but most people don't. So let's just be honest with what we're seeing here and how they're transitioning this into the new system and setup. So the new thing is they got tired of people saying that Apex doesn't use end of day. Well, they know that lots of people are fine with the intraday. So they left it and added end of day. So how does this work? Well, you get to choose which one you want to do now. So it's kind of cool. So we're gonna walk through what some of these means. End of day drawdown, no payment denials, no MAE rule, no 5-to-1 risk to reward rule, built-in scaling, and 50% consistency. This is a big one because a lot of people are used to that 30% consistency rule, and they're used to that risk to reward rule that they've really been hounding on. And they're like, you know what? We're going to get rid of some of these other rules. We're going to tighten down on some of the other aspects that have really been killing us as a business, because people have kind of been taking advantage of us as being like that guy that's always kind of going to be around, the nice guy you can kind of just push around a little bit. So they were like, we're going to bump up some other rules and we're going to lax on some other rules and kind of give you a little bit of freedom to kind of play the way you want to. But yeah, only a 50% consistency rule, which means that if you have $10,000 in the bank and you go to make a withdrawal, no longer do you have to have no day over $3,000. Now, as long as you don't have one day over $5,000, it's really kind of, played a little lax here in this back end here, and still no consistency rule at all in the eval, which is way, less strict than a lot of the other places. So let's talk a little bit more about what they're going to be doing and how they're going to do that. Let's scroll back down here. All right, so you can kind of look and see if you like using Rhythmic. You can click on Rhythmic or Wealth Charts. There are some pricing differences on some of these. You can click on the 25K or you can click on the 50K. It gives you all the details. And there are some very glaring differences between the old style and the new style that we want to go ahead and hit. And there's also some end of day stuff that we want to talk about here. Okay, all right. So let's look at the intraday and see a trailing drawdown, and let's just go straight into that. What we're used to. What are the big changes, right? Intraday trailing. They've taken $500 away. They've put it back down to $2,000, still $3,000 profit target, $2,000 for the max drawdown, just like every other across the board platform, just making it simple, I guess. You've got the intraday trailing drawdown. We all know what that is if you've played with Apex before. Scaling built in for PA. We'll go over that when we start talking about the payouts. And the reset. There is no reset fee. They completely did away with the reset. Okay. When we look at what this is, eval active for 30 days. This is for intraday and for the EOD. There's no rebilling fee. There's no like, oh, I forgot to cancel my fee, because nobody ever did it anyway. Let's just be honest. That's why they were starting to crack down on people who were like canceling and rebilling or canceling and setting up, canceling, setting it up. We were doing this already anyway, right? So this isn't a big deal. They're probably going to have sales going on. They're probably going to have this and that going on. You're not going to have a recurring bill. You're going to pay for one chance to pass. You get 30 days to try it. If you don't pass it, you just wait for the next sale and get another one. So basically everything we've already been doing. So that's why I was kind of saying, like, we only have ourselves to blame for some of these changes, because this is how we've been doing Apex already. They're just making the rules to reflect how people are using the system, and then building in defenses so they can, kind of protect themselves as a company. So Mac compatible, mobile compatible, yes, all those platform features. Nothing's changed as far as like how it works, where it works, when it works. And so you get down here, once you get it, you get to the performance account. So that's basically the big difference, other than the number of units you can trade in a 50K. You have 6 minis and 60 micros versus 10 minis and 100 micros. So they lessen the number of units you can use. I don't know very many people who are using, 6 minis anyway. Not in our Discord. But if you're like one of those guys that's like, I've got to go 10 minis. That's all I do. You're going to have a little bit of an issue there. You'll have to back it on a little bit and figure out a different way to do it. So that's intraday, less contracts, smaller drawdown, and you only have 30 days to pass it. Other than that, everything's the exact same. All right. End of day is still trailing. Everything's trailing, but it only calculates based off of how you did for the entire day. It's going to be a little more expensive. It's going to be about $10 more expensive. Instead of $19, it's going to be $29 to have that extra like cushion during the day to take a loss or to let a play out. Right. So instead of having like, that TP and that stop loss, you may just go, okay, well, I can just let this run, because if it pulls back to break even, right, it's not going to hurt me. That's good. That's an awesome place to do, but that's not how they're used to doing business. So they're building a little cushion for themselves so that people can play a little bit more like some of the other platforms if they choose so. Same thing, minimum 1 day to pass. I feel like that's probably going to be the brand new rule going forward. No more sales to make that happen. I think everybody's pretty much just hoping that would be a thing anyway. So they went ahead and took care of that. Max contracts, 6 minis, 60 micros. Profit target, the exact same as the intraday. Max drawdown, 2,000, just like the intraday. Drawdown type, end of day, right? So there is a daily loss limit on these. If you notice, the intraday did not have a daily loss limit. There's no daily loss limit. But for the end of day, because they calculate at the end, it will only let you lose $1,000 in 1 day. So a little bit, Top Step-esque, right? For a little bit there. I know they had that end of day and they kind of did away with it. But if you do the end of day, they're going to make sure you protect that account and go, hey, let's not overdo this. People who are using that intraday are going to be a little more careful taking those profits anyway. But with an end of day, it might feel a little safer. And so they're just like, hey, if you lose $1,000 in a day, we're just going to close the account for you. You can wait till tomorrow. Or you can pass it in 1 day, whichever one you want to do. But at least that way you've got an account tomorrow, right? Which costs them money, to be honest with you. So let's not go, oh, dumb Apex. Because if they really wanted to just screw you over, to be like, here's a brand new thing and function that our customers have never used before. You just do what you want to and then come back and buy another account at the end of the day, right? Yeah, everything's the exact same, right? No rebill of eval active for 30 days will expire at the end of 30 days. No resets, right? Okay, so those are the two big things. I'm not going to go over 25K, 100K, 50K, but you can go click on all of these and go look at the individual pieces. You can get 25K for $26 for here, which means the intraday, look here, $17.70. So you guys who love your 25K accounts, there you go. But you've only got $1,000 instead of $1,500. So just be aware of that. It's not $1,500 anymore. Make sure you know what you're getting into before you do it. Now, let's go to the payout system, because it is different. Okay. Please be sure you're paying attention to this. Intraday payout at a glance. All right. Up to weekly payouts with 100% payout split, which means you keep everything. Everything. All right. But there's a caveat to that. Everything to what they allow you to take out. So if you're making a lot more than what you're allowed to take out, and it's scalable, all right, we'll go over that in a minute. Your first payout's going to be a little smaller, but your last or your sixth payout, your fifth and sixth payout are going to be much larger than you're used to in some of these accounts. If you have that money in there, if you're only earning what you have, then you're going to take all of it. They're not going to keep any of it, people. Okay. But that means that if you've earned more, they get to keep the extra. And I think that's okay. That's kind of a cool way to do it. Like, here's what you can expect from us. This is exactly what you stand to earn from us. And if you earn a little extra, like, we're not going to keep anything from you. The goals, the targets. All right, so let's talk about what those are. Minimum 5 days to meet required minimum daily profit, right? So you have to trade, and we'll talk a little bit about what you have to earn, but 5 days green, right? And they've upped that significantly, so be aware of that. Minimum $500 payout. You're not going to be able to get anything less than $500 payout. That's always been there. That's not changed. 50% consistency applies. No more 30% consistency rule. 50% consistency. That's pretty stinking awesome. And then maximum 6 payouts per performance account. Okay. So what does that mean, Philip? That means that you are only ever going to get 6 payouts. As soon as you get your 6th payout from Apex, you are finished. You are cut off. Does that mean that I can open it back up, or do I move into a live account? No, you're done. You're done. 6 payouts, you're finished. Okay. Let's talk about what that looks like down here. It's not as bad as it looks or sounds, but it may change the way you trade Apex. Okay. Intraday performance account payouts. The minimum daily profit for 50K is $200. You have to get $200. That's for intraday. It is different for the end of day, so be aware. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. $200 is a green day. You need 5 of those. So they've cut it down from 8 to 5, and it's not even like 5 days, right? It's a minimum of 5 days because you have to get those 5 $200. But yeah, so you need 5 minimum days over $200 or at $200. Minimum balance required to take your first payout is $2,600. You can draw down $500 into that the first payout. Okay, that's what that means. 6 payouts max. Let's go down to what that is going to start looking like. Okay, 6 payouts. This is what you get with the intraday. With the intraday, you get your very first payout on a $50,000 is only going to be $1,500. Okay, minimum $500, maximum $1,500. Second payout can be up to $2,000. Okay, that's normal. That's our normal, $50,000 payout, right? The third payout is going to be $2,500. Okay, $2,500. That's basically, if you do all 3 of them, you basically just got 3 $2,000 payouts. Is basically what that is. Your fourth payout, also $2,500. Your fifth payout, $3,000. Sixth payout, $3,000. Okay, so if you pay $19 for the intraday 50K account, like we normally do, you're going to pay, I think it's $79 to open up the PA account. So they separate them. which means that if you still are working on passing evals, $19 is all you pay, right? The cool thing about Apex is they do separate it. The bad thing about it is they do separate it if you're really good at passing them. If you're still working on passing them, you're not going to find anything cheaper than $19. You're just not going to do it. So collectively in total, it's $14,500. So you pay $19, you pass it, you pay another $80, right? So you're in for $100. And out of, if you max this out, if your goal is to max these out and to get the max payout every single time. And there's no like, oh, you risk too much on that trade. No, it's just like, this is what you do. You go for broke at that point. They're just like, swing the biggest hammer you feel like you can swing that you're comfortable with $100 investment, basically. And if you get $1,500, good on you, right? There's that first payout. You traded another 5 days with $200 profit each. You can get a $2,000 all the way up to $14,000 after you've collected your sixth payout. Even if you didn't max these out, if you only got $5,000, if you want $8,000, if you only got $3,000, can you get $3,000? Yeah, $500 each, for six payouts. If you only got $500 out of each of them, that's $3,000. That's all you got out of it. That's closed. It doesn't matter if you got the rest of this money. But that also means they didn't get anything either. Like if you only made enough to make a $500 payout, then they're not getting anything extra, but they're going to give that to you anyway. Now, if you're swinging it big and you're like, I got all these max payout, you're going to get $14,500. Anything left over in the account, that's theirs to keep. So, and that's how they're probably going to make their money here, because there's no split. They're not taking 20% of it. They're not taking 10% of it. So now and I'm not sure, but I believe that once you hit $200 on your fifth day, you can go ahead and just request. I'll have to check that. So let's go talk about end of day here. Don't leave me yet. I promise this is still good. So end of day, same thing, 100% payout split to you for everything they've promised that you can take out. Minimum 5-day trading with a $250 for end of day. It's $250 per day on the end of day, not the intraday, the end of day. Minimum $500 payout, 50% consistency rule still applies, a 6 payouts performance account. Okay, so $250. So you have to have that $52,600. Still same thing as the intraday. You can take your first $500 out of that, leaving a $52,100 cushion, right? So anything left in here, that's going to be it. And anything over, that's going to be theirs as well. Let's talk about what this looks like. Okay, so this one's not as much. Okay, you're actually only getting about $13,000. It's $1,500 for the first one, $1,500 for the second one, $2,000 for the third one, $2,500 for the fourth one, $2,500 for the fifth one, and $3,000 for the sixth one. Why? Because you can leave these trades open longer, because it's end of day, which means you can risk more, you can risk longer, and you can go bigger, right? So it's just kind of their way of going, hey, feel free to play these larger trades, but play smaller, and that's okay. You can still shoot for these. It's still $13,000. It's still, it's $30 for the end of day payout, for that extra, cushion to be able to, wait till the end of day to calculate. I think it might be a little more expensive for the PA account. I can't remember. It's either $79 or $99. So you could be paying an extra $30 to actually earn a little less money, $13,000. But still, even if it's $130 all in, still cheaper if upfront, if you're just trying to get that payout account or that first eval passed. So there's the basic rules. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this. You can come back and read this and go to the help desk and just type in EOD payouts or intraday payouts. They've got all the information down here underneath. And so what does that mean for me? It's kind of a cool, little bit of a cool change for some people, a little bit of a pain in about the other. So what's the big deal about these? Well, let's say you get, $5,000, $8,000, $13,000, $14,000 out of this. and you had a budget for the next round of evals that you wanted to do. Again, here's one of the things that sets Apex apart. And again, this is how just most people play it. They get 5 or 6 payouts, and they either will try to just sit there in like a bunch of accounts and roll over and over and over, or they'll just close everything out, get all the money, and then start a whole new set anyway. So Apex is like, we gotta make this profitable for us, right? So you can still do 20 accounts. Okay, I mentioned that earlier, but this is where it gets good. You can still do 20 accounts. After you get your first set of payouts, you roll that back over and start some evals again, and you can tie 20 evals together. You can tie and you can pass all those, or you can rotate them through and still pass all those. You can still rotate PA accounts together. It's not like, oh, you got 6 payouts, we're going to cancel everything. No, it's 6 payouts per paid account. Make it so that like you've got like 3 or 4 different accounts that are getting payouts at different times. So you're constantly kind of drawing in that. Now, the hard part about it is now you got to start over those evals a little more often. But what that offers you is the ability to go like, okay, I can put like $19 per account for 20 accounts, tie them all together, pass them all if you're really good at passing them, and then you can tie those together. It's $14,000 times 20. Oh God, what's the math on that? I'm gonna pull here we go. Let's say we do the intraday. Let's do 14.5. Oh, that's too many zeros. Times 20. That's $300,000 for the intraday, and 13,000 times 20 for the end of day. That's still $260,000. So over $250,000 either way you look at it. That you could be making just in this cycle, right? So people are like, oh yeah, no, I was gonna make a lifestyle out of this. If you 6 payments or 6 payouts, do it with 5 days. If you're really good, I mean, you could do that in 2 or 3 months. And if you're mad at $260,000 in like a 1 quarter, or even like 4 or 5 months of worth of work, then man, I don't know what to tell you, but but it is different, and I understand that. So if you want to go try something else, if you're in the Discord, man, Grant's got some great codes for Lucid. He's got, we both use the base code for Take Profit. Believe it or not, Top Step actually had a code like 30% off not long ago, but it was still generalized. I mean, nobody really gets a code for Top Step. So, and I've got the code down. I'll have it down below for Apex Trader. Join in the Discord if you're not in the Discord and you don't have a group to trade with. If you're in the Discord, man, just, make the plan. Let's go for it. I mean, like, this is how we've been trading Apex already anyway. So don't get too frustrated about what they're trying to do business wise to try to like salvage their money. So, I look forward to see you in the morning, man. We're going to be live trading. We jump on usually between 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern. So about half an hour to an hour before market open, and we trade into market open, and usually till about 10:30 a.m. Eastern every single morning inside the Discord live. We share charts, we share opinions, we share strategy, we share just experience. And so if you're looking for somebody to trade alongside then just come on. We look forward to seeing you in It's Mike Poarch Discord, and I can't wait to see you there.